Hello, my name is Kathleen Hudson and I'm a postgraduate researcher at the University of Sheffield, here to talk to you about my research as part of the #RepresentYourResearch project. My research focuses primarily on the Gothic genre, and in particular on aspects of narrative and narration within that genre. Everyone in the world engages in self-fashioning, the everyday negotiations of social, psychological, and moral aspects of our lives that define us as human beings. One of the ways we define ourselves is through narrating, by sharing stories, observations, and interpretations about our world through our own subjective viewpoint. My research focuses on one of the earliest subgenres of the novel form, 18th century Gothic novels. I look at these texts to understand how the Gothic genre informs identity, and in particular look at servant narratives within these texts. Servants in the 18th century were particularly interesting figures, often privy to household secrets even their masters didn't know. Therefore, they often have very different worldview from their masters, a conflict which comes out in fictional interpretations of servants. The narratives told by these servants in early Gothic texts, narratives which usually come in the form of ghost stories, lost histories, or biting moral observations, often contain aspects which destabilize and restructured identity. Moreover, the styles of servant narrative, the servant's tendency to employ digression, interruption, excessiveness, and other discursive techniques, also suggests the pattern of the novel, itself a relatively experimental form. Servant narrative in the early Gothic genre is rarely addressed in critical theory, but it's pervasive throughout the genre and is very important to constructions of identity within the texts. I primarily study the texts of authors such as Horace Walpole, Anne Radcliffe, Matthew Lewis, and Charlotte Dacre. But Gothic servant narrative can also be found in the works of William Shakespeare, the Bronte sisters, in Victorian detective and sensation fiction, and even in contemporary adaptations. My research will have a profound impact on not only how we read Gothic servant narratives, but also on how we understand narrative and genre as a whole. The literary and historical implications of Gothic servant narratives are profound, and have a great deal to tell us about how we understand storytelling, emotional anxiety, and identity.